Okay. So we can, from the fossil record, we can deduce a number of things. But remember, we have DNA now, has told us a lot more. First of all, for all hominins, that means all the whole lineage that left, that split off from the other great apes, arose in Africa. It looks like all of them, or most of them, shared bipedalism. There's still some question about whether Ramapithecus or Ardipithecus was actually fully bipedal. There were some individuals that fossilized where their feet had actually looked like chimpanzees' feet, more like hands for grasping for arboreal living in the trees. But they also had some pelvic structure and leg structure that indicated they were perhaps more bipedal than like the great apes, as far as knuckle walking and stuff like that. Certainly Australopithecus, including Lucy, were fully bipedal by 3.5 to 4 million years ago. They have a modern hip structure, modern leg structure, heels, foot, all that. And so they were definitely adapted for living in mixed woodland savanna habitat. They might have been better at dwelling in trees than modern humans, but a lot of modern humans actually do quite well. There's a lot of hunter-gatherers that collect honey, that spend a lot of times in trees. So, as you know, modern humans aren't completely not arboreal. Okay. There were certainly several species at various times during evolution that were contemporaneous. That means they were living at the same time. The fossil record strongly suggests that different hominin species lived in physical contact, but we certainly know that because we have evidence of interbreeding between modern humans and Neanderthals, and modern humans and Denisovans, and Denisovans and Neanderthals. So obviously you can't have gene flow without human contact and sex. Compare with Australopithecines, Homo, the genus Homo, they had a larger brain case for the most part. So Australopithecines have the same size, about the same size brain to body size as, let's say, chimpanzees, about 350 cubic centimeters. Whereas modern humans are anywhere from 1,100 to 1,400. And then it looks like Homo, like the first Homo, had an increase in brain size up to 500 cc's, 450 to 500, and that's habilis. And then Erectus, maybe 700 or 800 cc's, maybe even a little larger. Neanderthals, in some cases, Neanderthals had even a larger brain than what we consider modern human, anatomically modern humans. As far as whether they were could do the same things that we could do, there's some evidence they had some symbolic symbolism that they painted in caves, not to the same extent that modern humans did. There's some evidence that they might have buried their dead. They certainly had an advanced tool assemblage that they used in their day-to-day living like modern humans did. And the same thing with Denisovans, but we haven't really recovered very many fossils from Denisovans. But they were clearly fairly advanced as well. So, Homo sapiens, Homo erectus, which first evolved in Africa, and Homo neanderthalensis and the Denisovans, which evolved after humans left Africa, or maybe a lineage that then split between Neanderthals, Homo sapiens, and Denisovans, made it out of Africa. And they were present. Modern humans have been found all the way back to Morocco, about almost 300,000 years. That's recent. But they showed features, some ancestral features as well. There was interbreeding between Homo sapiens and some ancient African populations of like Homo erectus. And then there was certainly interbreeding in Asia between Homo neanderthals and Denisovans and humans at various times. For the most part, Homo, and probably previous to that, all the others, hominin lineages originated in Africa. There's a lot of evidence for that. But at the same time, modern humans didn't replace, at this point, or more archaic humans like Neanderthals. It looks like there was some limited interbreeding going on at the time. So there might be something, I don't know, we'll see in the test. It says the out of Africa hypothesis, but that means that modern humans arose in Africa. But there was definitely some interbreeding, so it doesn't reflect that. So this is kind of what it looks like. Now the thing is, this is an older map. Previously, or recently, some modern human fossils were found up in Morocco, up in this northern Africa up here, that were older, anywhere from 270,000 to 300,000 years ago. No DNA has been recovered, but there's been a lot of DNA recovered from humans all the way, and Neanderthals all the way back 400,000 years. There's also a lot of questions about how many waves of humans actually had left Africa, or whether it was continuous. It used to be thought that the most recent modern humans came out about 60 or 70,000 years ago, but we know that by 65,000 years ago now, modern humans had actually reached Australia. And we also know that Neanderthal mitochondrial DNA was replaced by modern human mitochondrial DNA about 270,000 years ago. Instead of, even though they were more closely related to Denisovans, who lived more in the Far East. So, there was some and that's as far as I'm going to go.